I was visiting with one of your players, and I asked Josh and a couple of the guys about it, and he was referring to the offensive line. He goes, man, those guys love playing with Carmen. And so that's very rare. You usually players I play for this guy or whatever, and talking to the offensive line, and Josh, you have a special relationship with them. You're hard on them, but they just love you and have included you as if you're one of their own. Will you talk about that relationship? How do you build that?
Well, first, I appreciate you saying that, because that is something that I think is at my core philosophy of no matter what it is, a player has to know first and foremost you care about them as an individual, and if you're genuine about it, then I think you're permitted, and there's a level of trust in that you can push them, and that is the idea of a coach. I mean, if they didn't need coaches to take them from where they are now to where they can be, then there'd just be 11 players on offense, 11 players on defense out there, and there'd be no coaches around. But obviously, coaches are required for that. But to do that, you have to build a level of trust. And how do I do that? I'm honest. I'm genuine. I enjoy them. They know I enjoy them. But at the same time, there's a line. There is. But with a group that's, a positive group that are fun to be around, sometimes that seems like that line can almost get blurred, because, it is a group of guys that I enjoy being around. But I think first and foremost, you just demonstrate it through making sure they know they're important. If a player comes to your meeting room and they want to have a talk, well, then you stop what the heck you're doing and you have that conversation. Be in the moment with them when you're with them.
You got everyone's kind of starting from ground zero. There's an element of that. But I would imagine last year was the epitome of ground zero with this offensive line and new coaching staff. How much further along would you say that you guys are at this point compared to last year?
I think the biggest thing is when you have, like you're describing, the continuity would be an understanding of what expectations are. But by no means are you ahead. You have to pay it. You can't just say, okay, building on what you did last year, okay, they know what an ace block is, but the work in doing an ace block, you have to pay that. So we're at the same exact spot we were last year at this year, which is working on our fundamentals and communication with one another and understanding our assignments. And then there's new assignments. It's not like, okay, hey, this is the only thing we're going to do. This is the offense. Like, there's new things to learn and grow on. So you're always in a state of improving. Old coaches saying you're either green or you're growing, or you're ripe and you're dying. Like, you're always trying to improve. So it's not like, okay, hey, listen, we've reached that status. We haven't. So by any means,
Carmen, you guys brought back a lot of the same players from last year, and something that Coach McDaniel said is, improvement doesn't necessarily have to come from, addition in terms of bringing in new people. What goes into improving this unit that you have in terms of a lot of the guys that started the games last year and trying to continue to push the unit? There's a lot of thought as we look. As soon as the season's over, coaches obviously catch their breath for a second, and then you're right back to it. And you look as an individual player, you look at the unit, and you look at the offense. And we as coaches then are meeting and putting on our input. As you look at an individual basis, what is their technique? What is perhaps their body composition? What is their injury status? And you're going to try to improve on that. As a group, there's themes that you'll say, boy, gosh, I wish we were better at this. Man, we really did well at that. How can we maximize that? What plays do we have to run to maximize what we do well? So then you kind of continue to grow and build, as we kind of already talked about. But you look at it as an individual basis, then a unit basis, and say, all right, what do we need to improve on? Because absolutely, there's plenty of things that we need to improve on. It doesn't matter where it is. Like I said, it's that 1 year from the next doesn't matter. You've got to put in the work each year to be able to have success. And are there specific areas from last year that you feel like stood out in terms of things that you wanted to hone in on coming into OTAs and training camp?
Yeah, absolutely. And then that's a part of that conversation that you have with your players of, hey, listen, just being honest. Like, it's us. And a part of that, going back to the other answers, you close the door and it's us. It's us in the room. We have honest conversations like X, Y, Z. We stunk at. We need to be better at. Or, hey, you know what? I really appreciate how good you were at this. I want to get everybody else to do this if it's an individual. But I'm not in the business of helping my opponents.
Brandon Parker's a guy that you guys could have let go. An injury, and they decided, no, we're going to keep him around. We like what we saw before the injury. What does he bring to this team that you guys said, hey, I think he's worth keeping around. We like him. What do you like about his game?
Yeah, certainly. Obviously, in the business, players come and go, and that's a part of it. It's coaches as well. But Brandon, like a lot of the other guys in the room, we've got 16 of them working. He fits, I think, our mold that we like. And it's true of Brandon. He's smart, he's tough, and he loves football. I mean, those are the characters that we want, and he encapsulates that. And everybody has it, and they wouldn't be in the room if they didn't. So he's a part of that mold. He's been working hard, very happy, like the rest of the guys. obviously fitting into that puzzle piece. We'll figure it out as we continue to work on. But he's a dedicated guy who cares about his craft, and he's smart, and he approaches it the right way. And he's a good leader in the room, so we're happy to have him.
Came in here, enjoyed meeting the staff, talking with Josh specifically just about what everything would entail, and it was just something that was attractive to me, and I think he felt good about it as well. So it's a good fit.
How would you describe your role? I know it's something that we hear the name a lot, but a lot of people don't really know what goes into it.
What I'm really here to do is just help out however I can. In the meantime, I'm gonna grow and learn myself. But however I can help Josh and Mick and the rest of the staff, and that could be a variety of things, on the offensive side of the ball. That's really what I'm looking to do.
And I know obviously there's more that goes into the pass game besides the quarterback. You're not the position coach, but they are a big part of obviously that component of offense. What have you seen from that group, especially Hayden O'Connell's working coming in and kind of getting his feet wet?
I just think that the group as a whole has done a really good job this offseason of just having a set of goals and working towards it every day, and just trying to improve and become one day better and really stay focused on that, It's so early in that process, but I think that, we got a good group that's going to continue to get better.
And finally, how would you describe just your overall philosophy when it comes to the pass game? What do you try to emphasize?
I think a lot of it is determined by, your personnel, and I think you look back at, not only, myself, but just any other, offenses, you can be, you can have a variety of different things that you do. And I think that the most important thing is to understand, what your players do well, and then, kind of fit it to them, and try to get the most out of them, most out of their abilities. And then also maybe, push them a little bit to get out of their comfort zone.
Samir White, and then you have Britton Brown. Then, coming off an injury is Sincere. And then Austin Walters, and I consider Yak as part of our running back group. Great attitudes. Just really a joy to work with.
Do you feel like you've gotten what you wanted out of them during this season workout?
I think we can always improve every day, but they've been out here and they've been working to try to get better every time.
So you didn't add anyone this offseason, so it's the same group. So what is the improvement you're looking for going into year 2?
Just looking for them to understand the system better and execute, and still working on the details. But the most important thing for us is just being consistent for their teammates. And once we get that opportunity, it gives them a chance to really make plays when they're out there.
Can you talk a little bit about Amir Abdul and what he brings to the group?
Amir is he's a pro's pro. He's a smart, tough young man. Really, I love his energy, and he just has that maturity about him, being in the NFL and moved around. But and he's a really good teammate, and so it's the unselfish play, and that's all of them. Brandon Bolden's the same way. Britton Brown, Zamir, they're all the same way. They kind of just they love competing, and it's a very healthy competition.
Thank you.
And they're welcome.
Last season.
I think every day that's a goal. To try to get better every day. Little things here we can improve on, and I'm expecting a more consistent group. Eliminate the mistakes and make plays all the way around.
Coach, I just want to get your thoughts on the wide receiver unit as a whole heading into training camp, and what do you think of Trey Tucker?
As a whole, very competitive group. The men have been coming in day after day and putting forth a great attitude, great energy, working their butts off to learn our system and put them in the best position to be successful.
Obviously, you played running back and then transitioning now to a wide receiver coach. What kind of competitive advantage does that give you as a coach, seeing the game from a different lens, maybe on the backside and now on the second and third levels?
Well, I think overall, it's really more about just being competitive, being able to basically see it from a different lens as far as when you talk about from the run game, responsibilities of a route runner, responsibilities, and just doing your part. I think the most important thing is for guys to kind of come in with the right mindset and the willingness to learn and continue to learn and grow. And that's really the process. It's day by day, guys coming in, putting in the work, and having that right mindset as far as I'm going to do what it takes to help the team win.
And as far as the unit as a whole and going to training camp, it's kind of hard to kind of gauge how well your players are doing because they're in shorts. The pads aren't on yet. So from a coaching perspective, how hard is it for you to kind of go into training camp saying, okay, this guy does this well, this guy doesn't do this well? Does it come from the shoulders up? You just gauge based on what they learn and what they're teaching them on a day-to-day basis?
Part of the process is obviously them learning our system. How quickly can they pick it up? How quickly can they retain that information? To put them in position to now go out and be successful. So that's part of it. As far as in the phase 2 and phase 3, without having pads on, and so now they put themselves in position when we do come back and put the pads on to be successful, training in a certain way where they have an understanding as far as our concepts, our techniques, our fundamentals, and how we go about doing it day by day to build up towards the upcoming season.
All right, one last question. If you were to describe your coaching style in one word, what would it be?
Relentless.
Tell me about Devontae Adams. He's been in this league for so long. How does he help this new group of wide receivers that you bring in, all these young guys?
I think the starting point with Devontae, his foundation has always been his competitive drive, his passion and love for the game. And every time he steps out on the field, he's trying to make the most of each and every opportunity. And his mindset has always been, I want to beat the guy that's across from me, and that's his responsibility, and he takes it serious every single time he steps out on the field. And I think when guys see that, it just creates even more competition in the room because they're striving to be similar to that. And I think they can all learn from each other's journeys as far as, because we have other veteran guys in our room that's been through different things to kind of get to this point, and they've had success on this level. And so I think all of the guys see that and want to get better and improve each and every day, and I think it makes a group even stronger.
You've known Devontae for a long time. How have you seen him improve from when he first entered the league to now?
It's just his drive, his desire to want to improve, and not go about it and take a day here and there. It's just, you know what, each and every time I go into a situation, I want to get better, day by day. What can I learn from this situation? What can I learn from that situation? And just continue to grow. But he'll also share some of these experiences and some of the things that he's seen over his years, 10 years in the business, and versus different players, different teams, as far as how he's able to continue to grow and share that with the younger guys.